time on this working day afternoon to grace this occasion. I am Rakesh Katti from Ozonepharmaceuticals Limited, and to briefly tell you about this event, this is called For Her. And when we say for her, I was just reminded of one of the slides being played few minutes back. It says that half of the population in this world is women, and remaining half is their children. So in fact, when we are talking for her, we are talking for everybody. And this is one initiative that Ozonepharmaceutical has taken for last few months, and we have been talking about her and about the unasked questions that you all influential doctors sitting in this room can answer every now and then. And I'm very happy to share that one vision where we feel very happy and proud that we are aligned with you. That is the vision of Ozonepharmaceutical Limited, where we say that we do everything just for two reasons, either for adding years to life or life to years. And I believe that is what you all doctor also do in your day-to-day practice. I'll not take much of your time and request our East Delhi Gynae President and General Secretary, Dr. Dipti Nag and Dr. Shama Batra to come on the stage and welcome our chief guests of today. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, respected senior and Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, dignitaries Dr. Kiran Bedi, esteemed chairpersons, respected colleagues, dear friends and seniors. We are not gathered here merely for a scientific session.
This is the
we are
workshop.
gathered
This is
here
a platform.
for an awakening.
Platform hai.
Across the country,
just connect with
doctors are healing with one hand and they are defending themselves with the other. We've seen our colleagues being humiliated, intimidated, manhandled. We've seen police overreach, misunderstanding of medical protocols, knee-jerk accusation without any scientific basis. We've seen fear entering our consultation rooms, yet we continue to serve. And at the same time, we've been entrusted with handling some of the most sensitive issues in our society, cases of sexual assault, violence against women, and child abuse under the Prevention of Children from Sexual Offence Act, the POCSO Act. A law which is meant to protect society must not become a weapon of harassment against the healers. Friends and colleagues, ignorance of legal procedures is dangerous, and more dangerous is keeping silent about it. We must know what are our rights during police questioning. When can we refuse unlawful demands? How do we document POCSO causes correctly? And how can we protect ourselves while we are protecting and healing our patients? Our dignity is non-negotiable. This is not about confrontation, it is about empowerment. And to make this shift from fear to firmness and from confusion to clarity, we have amongst us an eminent personality, Dr. Kiran Bedi. Welcome, ma'am, on behalf of Delhi Gynae Forum and IMA East Delhi. I welcome ma'am on the dais. Dr. Kiran Bedi is the first Indian woman to join the officers' rank of the Indian Police Services in 1972. And when she took voluntary retirement in 2007, it was at the post of Director General, Bureau of Police Research and Development. She was the Governor of Puducherry from 2016 to 2021. She served the UN as Civilian Police Advisor in Peacekeeping Operations, winner of the Magasya Award, and she also runs two foundations for the underprivileged in the rural urban area and also in the prison by the name of Navjyoti and Indian Vision Foundation. Welcome, ma'am, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, very kindly.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of IMA East Delhi branch and Delhi Gynae Forum, we welcome you again. We welcome Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am. She is a mentor and senior gynecologist. And we welcome Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am. Everybody knows her very well. Under her leadership and under her guidance, we
Thank you.
Along with this, we have for first session, we have the experts with us.
We have experts, Dr. Diara is the past Secretary General, that was this IMA, and past President. And we have Dr. Kiran Bedi, she is the President DLE, soon going to be. We have senior eminent academicians and the gynecologist, Dr. Terminable Gupta. She is the HOD and Professor of Gynae and PSI of Singapore. Dr. Raj Gopalia, she is the senior consultant at Fortis Lafayette and past President DGA. Dr. Ila Gupta, she is also senior consultant at Hospitals and past President DGA. Welcome
All of you, very nice.
you have the mic, you can start the session.
Let me say hello and good afternoon to all of you. Great. Thank you for responding to a very good initiative taken by Mr. S.C. Sehgal, who is the chairman and managing director, the chief of the Ozonepharmaceuticals Limited. We all thank him for this foresight and visionary initiative. This is our third workshop and it's an ongoing program. We've had very successful for every workshop with gynecologists. We've learned more and aspire to do better and better. I think more initiatives will follow after this workshop as well, as I shared what Mr. Sehgal had in mind. Now, why women gynecologists? Well, the vision will be explained to you all by Mr. Sehgal, but I think you form a very, very vital constituency, dealing with women as mothers, and women as citizens and professionals and non-professionals as well. You're a very vital destination for women. We both are coming together. She will handle your medical aspects of the particularly menstrual hygienes particularly, right, and more.
Heavy menstrual bleeding.
And further on menstrual bleeding, etc. We've had some earlier too, but this time the focus shifted on this subject. So it's a combination of law enforcement and the medical expertise. I will share with you, as I believed you needed to, as study and research revealed, that you needed to understand issues, two particular issues, which was agitating you, concerning you, worrying you, causing you stress, etc., out of whatever reasons. But one is POXO. The day POXO is done, particularly because you are in dilemma what to do, because every POXO case comes to you. Am I right? Yes. It has to come, but there's no other option. And second is the issue of even domestic violence, which also comes to you. So I'm handling this from these 2 points of view. She will handle the medical aspect. Now, the way we are proceeding with this workshop is, the time is at the moment 3:20. The program is still 5 o'clock, as it said. So she will take her time. We've distributed the time as we planned earlier, and we both will share the time. We will introduce the subject and the challenges for you. I have a presentation for you. I thought as doctors, and you're such brightest of the community and you come all the way by very hard-earned academics, but we don't read the law. We don't read the law, and you know the protocol, the standing operating procedures. Once you know it, and we don't need to be told. I thought I would also bring you with the provisions concerning POXO and domestic violence, so that you are thereafter not in doubt. You've read the law. Once you read the law, you know what you're doing. That's exactly the first thing I do every time I pick up any professional assignment. I always first tell me the manual, show me the law, and show these standing operating procedures. Once I read them, I'm my master. I stop being ever in doubt. So friends, this is what I have in mind for you. I will go through quickly. I will take between us a little more than a half an hour. But I wanted to, that's a thought I had before I would share with you the POXO. I want to ask you as a test check for the first few minutes, what is it that is disturbing you, let's say in POXO? So that will I be addressing that same issue, or is it a little beyond? Just a test check from the audience. What is it that is you are in doubt? What is it that is you are in doubt? Question one by one, yeah. What is it that you are in doubt?
And being a private practitioner, we get some patients like the girl is 17 years and she's pregnant, about 2-3 months. And under the POXO Act, but we have been taught in like so many things, inform the police. I inform the police. Fine. So what is the police going to do with that girl? That we need to understand.
So that's sure. So question is, the law is the child has to be under 18. Girl has to be under 18. And you say that I don't have a choice, I pass on. You want to know what the police does? Yes. All right. Okay, good. Thank you. I'll address that. What else is in your mind? What's the doubt in your mind?
My main question is, madam, it is very difficult to assess the age of the girl, because the girls are not carrying any proof of their.
So you are in doubt what you do with the age.
Yeah.
But the child comes to you,
Yeah,
obviously for an
my
abortion.
heart is not
Hopefully for an abortion, right?
No, even
Huh.
for any other.
They're coming even for medical attention. Perfect.
anything.
All right. So it's the age is a doubt.
Age is the issue.
Okay. I'll address them. I think the law will address them. Now, I think these, so therefore, when I show you the slide, you will get an answer to these questions.
Can the treatment be delayed?
1 second, she's on the mic. Yeah.
So, ma'am, one is two things I will ask. One is the identity of a person.
Kya ji?
Identity.
Identity.
Because it's a confidentiality.
Ah.
So confidentiality is being going to breach.
Ah.
If we are just calling the police, if we are calling the anyone. So how we can protect that child?
अच्छा, तो बच्चे की confidentiality को कैसे protect करें? अच्छा. Okay. So I'm getting the sense. So I think once I explain to you the law, some of these questions will get answered. Any other question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At times we get a lady who's secondly married and she's come in the second pregnancy. But she's only 20 years old and her past pregnancy, past child is 3 years old. So that pregnancy was basically when she was a youngster. She was an adolescent. And
The offense was committed much earlier.
Yes. Now what do we
She's
do?
now coming for a second,
Second pregnancy now.
but she's an adult now.
She's adult now. Now what do we do? We are in a dilemma to report or not to report. Similarly, in extreme ends of age also, we get a lady for
That's interesting. This is the first time a question is coming like this, where she's past the offense age.
A lady comes for hysterectomy for any medical reason. She's 45, but her child, eldest child, is
Is a product of an earlier
28
situation.
years old. Now what do we do?
Okay. One more and then I'll get to the law. Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes the patient come, the girl come 16, 17 years old girl come to us with the parents. And they say that she has been raped by someone. And girl says that she doesn't want to get an examination done. In that case, how should we proceed?
Okay, now let's quickly go to the law. Some questions will get answered and some won't. It will take to a discussion.
If the patient walks in without a legal guardian, then how should we proceed?
Or without a legal guardian. Yeah, because it's so important to have one. Okay, let's quickly go with this that slide. नहीं मैं इधर आऊँ ये है ना ये है ओके ये लो this is the I wanted you to look at the law. It's a very few pages law. May I suggest each doctor in your own library have this Bear Act. Keep this Bear Act. I wanted to show you the Bear Act. It's a few pages, but you can refer to the law. Supposing you're in doubt, you say, मैंने ये कानून follow किया. So this is the way the Bear Act looks like. Now let's look at some of the sections of the law. Section 4 will be remembered as this. So whoever, following sections, whoever commits, now these are the offences under the POCSO. Whoever commits penetrative sexual assault on a child below 16 of age shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 20 years. See, the punishment is so high. So you need to know this. That is why it's being taken with so much of seriousness. Now the penetrative sexual assault is getting defined later. But which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of natural life of that person and shall also be liable to fine. This is section 4. It was amended. And this is where the punishment is. That is why it's considered that's why even the courts feel helpless. Because the punishment is so grave. And that's why you also start wondering, what do I do? Punishment to bahut zyada hai. Now, what is penetrative? This is defined. It's defined that penetrates his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, even the mouth, urethra, whatever you call it, yeah, or anus of a child, even the anus of a child, or makes a child to do so with him or any other person, or he inserts to any extent any object or a part of the body, not being the penis, into the vagina, the urethra and or anus of the child, or makes the child to do so with him or any other person, or he manipulates any part of the body. See, it's a manipulation of any part of the body of the child so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus, or any part of the body of the child, or makes the child to do so with him or any other person. I think this is getting very clear, much more clearer for many of you. Any other person, or he applies his mouth to the penis. He applies his mouth to the penis, vagina, anus, urethra of the child, or makes the child to do so to such person or any other. Now, punishment, of course, as I told you, its punishment is being given. I'm into first of all, defining as per the law, layman's reading, what is the law. Now, let's go to further aggravated. This is aggravated where there is a public servant involved. This is very heavily aggravated if the police officer, a law enforcement officer does this, which is same thing. Whoever being a police officer commits penetrative sexual assault on a child. Now, what is sexual assault? Sexual assault is whoever with sexual intent touches the vagina, penis, anus, or breast of the child, or makes the child touch the vagina, penis, anus, or breast of such person or any other person, or does any other act with sexual intent which involves physical contact without penetration, is said to commit sexual assault. That's a big difference. Now comes punishment for sexual assault is now shall not be less than 3 years. So penetrative different and sexual assault different here. Now the rest are our comments. We are not at that law because that's a debate. Sexual intent is precondition. This is another, but you are not investigators, so we don't need to go into these aspects of law, because that's the first thing you have to avoid is getting into investigation. Investigation is the duty and responsibility of the police officer. But I'm going to quickly come to you what you quickly do without being investigative. Now, this is where your section is. Obligation of media, studio and photograph facilities to report cases. Any personnel of the media or hotel or lodge or hospital, where you come in, or club or studio or photographic facility, that means everybody who comes before this, by whatever name called, irrespective of the number of persons employed therein, shall, not may, shall, on coming across any material or object which is sexually exploitative of the child, including pornographic, sexually related, or making obscene representation of a child, etc., through the use of any medium, shall provide such information to the Juvenile Justice Police Unit or to the local police as may be. I think we have a JAPU person official here, right? Here we are. I think he may address some of your questions, which will rightfully fall in his category, because he's a practicing person. Now, very important, which applies to you, is punishment for failure to report or record a case. Punishment for failure to report. I'm not coming to treatment yet. Failure to report. Any person who fails to report the commission of an offence under subsection 1 of section 19 or section 20, which we've just read through, who fails to record such offence under subsection, or like police officer fails to record, or of section 19, shall be punished with imprisonment for either description, which may extend to 6 months. Now that is when failing to report. Let's look at the other. Now this is a quick look for you. POCSO golden rule is suspicion, you report. That's it. That's the safest. Any suspected sexual offence in a child below 18 must be reported. Proof is not required. So you are not to investigate. तो प्रूफ दो, किसने किया, कब किया. नो, ये आपकी जिम्मेवारी नहीं है, आप उसमें मत जाना. आपके पास ये आई शिकायत, माँ बाप जितनी मर्जी प्लीड करें, बोला माफ़ करना, मुझे रिपोर्ट करना है, क्योंकि अगर मैं नहीं रिपोर्ट करूँगी तो मेरे खिलाफ भी जुर्म हो सकता है. बच जाओ अलग बात, कोई इग्नोर कर दे अलग बात, अनदेखा कुछ कर दे अलग बात, एक्सक्यूज कर दे, उसको ढक दे अलग बात, लेकिन आपकी फ़र्ज पहला है कि यू हैव टू रिपोर्ट. सो सस्पिशन, रिपोर्ट. नाउ कम डॉक्टर्स रोल इन पॉक्सो. चाइल्ड राइट्स, ना सीधी चाइल्ड राइट्स एमरजेंसी केयर में आ गया. कंसेंट, नाउ कंसेंट है. चाइल्ड फ्रेंडली एग्जामिनेशन, इट कैन बी द कंसेंट दे नहीं. जैसे किसी ने कहा गार्डियन है, बोला मैं नहीं देता कंसेंट. नाउ आई एम आंसरिंग योर, मैं नहीं देता कंसेंट. रिपोर्ट. देन से ओके बेटे, अगर वो मेडिकल इमरजेंसी है तो बच्चे को ट्रीट करो. मेडिकल तो आपकी ड्यूटी है, उसकी लाइफ बचानी आपकी ड्यूटी है. वो मेडिकल भी मना कर दे, यू रिपोर्ट. पुलिस विल कम विद इन 10 minutes. सो इट्स नॉट एन इशू. आपको पुलिस रिपोर्ट करोगे, बाकी सारा द बॉल इज इन द कोर्ट ऑफ द पुलिस. सो यू गेट, दैट मीन्स यू हैव प्लेड. इफ देयर इज नो, एंड देयर इज अ रीजन, नो गार्डियन, द चाइल्ड इज बीइंग obstructive, child does not want to be examined, तो बच्चा आया कैसे फिर? How did the child come? So whoever brought the child becomes a very important witness for the police, not you. So you can't start calling, ये तुम आए, लेकर आए, आओ इधर आओ, ये बच्चे को लेकर आए, आपको क्या कहना है? नहीं, इन्वेस्टिगेशन आप मत करो. आप वही काम करो जो कि आप नहीं, बच्चा obstruct कर रहा है, कोऑपरेट नहीं कर रहा, इन्फॉर्म द पुलिस. पुलिस विल टेक अप द लिंकेजेस as required. So child friendly examination, you can do a child friendly if you can be, the way you handle the child. Now comes emergency care. As I said, child arrives, emergency care, consent, question mark, child friendly examination if possible, and evidence preserved. That's the key. You preserve the evidence. You can, if whatever evidence is available, because if the child is not getting bodily examined, swab वगैरह नहीं मिलता, आप कुछ लेना चाहते हैं, कुछ उसके पास कुछ ऐसी मेडिकल छोड़ गया, वो एविडेंस नहीं करा, प्रिजर्व. वेल, चाइल्ड माइट जस्ट गो, आई वांट टू गो फॉर वॉशरूम, मैं जाऊँ. आप जैसे जितनी देर संभाल सकते हैं संभाल सकते हैं, क्योंकि वो एविडेंस है बच्चे का. व्हेन द चाइल्ड अगर फ्रेशली रेप होके आया, तो देयर विल बी मेनी फिजिकल थिंग्स लेफ्ट ऑन द बॉडी. It can be, but even if they're washed, you and I know it leaves evidence in the clothes or otherwise. So don't worry, oh ho, evidence जा रहा था इसलिए मैंने ये किया. नहीं, अगर बच्चा ज़बरदस्ती जाना चाहता है वॉशरूम में, जाने दो. बच्चे के कपड़े और बाकी चीज़ें साबित कर देंगे, ये आपकी जिम्मेवारी नहीं है. आपने जितना प्रिजर्व कर सकते हो वो करो, and report to the police, as I said. So I'm making your life very, very simple without you taking on more on your own. Is not to save anybody. अगर आप किसी को बचाने में लग गए क्योंकि knowledgeable, friendly था, etc., it is at your own risk. Remember that. So where is rule 7 of the POCSO rules? Number 1, consent mandatory. नहीं consent आ रही ना, तो फिर मैंने जैसे आपको बोला, consent is mandatory before you proceed. Child friendly approach, dignity maintained, presence of a trusted person, if there is one, excellent. If there's none, then the police has to step in faster, and maybe you have to inform the police, ये बच्चा consent भी नहीं दे रहा, ये इसके पास guardian भी कोई नहीं. That should be your control room call, or in SMS text, or your WhatsApp message to the SHO. Now, my other thing which I told in the last workshop also, every one of you should know, wherever you stay, wherever your workshop is, who is the SHO and what is his phone number. You should have it on your board somewhere. ताकि ऐसा केस आया, अपने ऑफिस को बोला उसको कॉल करो. सो यू उस वक्त नहीं ढूंढना SHO कौन है, और SHOs बदलते रहते हैं. सो यू नीड टू बी अलर्ट कि हमारे एरिया में SHO कौन है, या पुलिस स्टेशन का नंबर. दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू हैव इट इन योर WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp in your own records. So emergency care, then comes emergency care first. So dignity maintained, presence of trusted person, emergency care first, whatever is possible, that is important to save and protect the child's, and no more two-finger tests. They're out of it. Do not do under POSCO. Do not investigate. You are not the investigator. Bagar aap, you will be part of the investigation. Remember, you shall be, and don't avoid it. We all, as responsible citizens, have to be part of the investigation. जो आपने देखा, जो आपने मैसेज दिया, और आपने अगर व्हाट्सएप में मैसेज दिया, वो आप उसका प्रिंट आउट उनको दे देंगे, उनके पास भी हो. So that is evidence in the court because it's a story which is being linked. So do not investigate. Do not force an examination. As I said, जो से बच्चा नहीं मानता, कोई बात नहीं बेटे, आपको कुछ खाना है, कुछ पीना है, बच्चों को at ease करें, stress free करें. Then do not delay treatment, which we mentioned. Do not give legal opinions. कि ये होता है, कानूनी होता है, ये इसमें ये चाहिए, कुछ नहीं. Leave it to the police. That's their job. They do a good job, that's their problem. Credit to them. They do a bad job, they are responsible to the courts or to their seniors. And no finger tests. So what is the position of bail in POSCO? POXO offences are non-bailable. इसीलिए it's a very tough law. If एक बारी वो arrest हुआ, उसको bail आसानी से नहीं मिलने वाली. Police cannot grant bail. जैसे वो बेलेबल ऑफेंस, उसकी बेल होगी, आज एक्सीडेंट हुआ, इवन मरा हुआ भी छोड़ दिया, शाम को बेल होगी, बिकॉज दैट वाज अ बेलेबल ऑफेंस. बट इट्स नॉट, आई एम स्टिल अ बिलीवर दैट जज कैन रिकॉर्ड द रीजंस इवन इफ इट्स अ बेलेबल ऑफेंस, रिफ्यूजिंग बेल for the reasons, and they can defend their own decision for the sake of justice. But police cannot grant bail, police cannot grant. Court may grant bail based on facts. So police may refuse, they may not, but as I said, non-bailable. If they want to bail, then they have to record and they are responsible to explain why they're doing it. So this is a question of bail. Now failure to report becomes a legal offense and punishment, as I've already explained to you. In failure to report, straight away is punishable, even though it's a smaller punishment of 3 years, 3 months, even if it is punishment is a punishment. So when to call the police? It's when you are threatened, when there is an assault. Now this is larger security for the doctors. This was another, what do we do with violence? Abuse escalating or mob formation and property damage. That is why if you see a development and the way you're treating it, there's a mob outside concerning the child because they accuse or other things, maybe people come, relatives come, village comes, it can happen. Then it's called THAMP. THAMP is threats, hitting assault, abuse, mob formation or property damage. Anything that's coming, just call the police. And 112 is a set matter. नहीं SHO का number मिल रहा है, 112, call up 112 SHO number, have more than one number. Because sometimes all are busy and they're taking time because it's a hunting call. Take more than 3 numbers. Have another ACP's number area also, so that whoever picks up is getting informed. Now this is aggression management, where sometimes you have, last workshop was, how do we handle aggression when it comes to us? Aggression, stay calm. And that's what you are. You trained as doctors to stay calm, you calm others. Then call security. If you have your own security, your people are, but if you're a small nursing home and you're just doctor by yourself, then call the police, but otherwise you have security, inform seniors if you have. Then inform the police, as I've been repeating. So stay calm, document. Now documentation, and sometimes you can even do, your camera will be recording the situation. So let the camera record and save that footage. See that the footage doesn't go. Now this is the difference between government and the private setup. Private setup is you have naturally better security, you have faster police access, faster. Private is a lot of pressure on you, but you can even have your own SOPs formed, written SOPs which are available, that this is my standard operating procedure, either by the hospital or the nursing home, or as a private practitioner, this is my SOP. Now, I've done this BOXO. Now, I think I've tried to address some of these questions. I hope it makes it clearer. Does it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, I'll go to the second law. Are you interested in domestic violence? Yes. Okay. Yes. So we'll do the same thing quickly and then go over. This would not take too long, but because this is much more prevalent, but you suffer both. Now look at what is Domestic Violence Act. Again, I would say buy this act, this bare act, and keep it in your drawers. And once I teach you or train you and make you learn this, then you can even mark these out for yourself. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence protection law came in 2005. This came through thanks to the United Nations CEDAW UN international conventions, and that's how the conventions actually made it happen. Prior to that, domestic violence थी मेरी सर्विस तो 1975 से इंडियन पुलिस सर्विस में, और 75 से मैं कम्युनिटी क्राइम प्रिवेंशन करती थी. 2005 तक whenever women were beaten up, you had no law. We had to handle it round in a roundabout manner. कि उसकी बाजू टूट गई, हर्ट में ले लिया, ज़्यादा होगी तो ग्रीवस हर्ट में ले लिया, या दूसरा तो कोई ऑफेंस ही नहीं था, नॉन कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस था, कोई मारता है उसको गाली गलोच करता है. देयर वाज नो लॉ एंड द पुअर वुमेन had a real problem. So Domestic Violence Act in 2005 enacted to protect women from domestic violence. This is the first act in India defining the term domestic violence. Section 3 defines definition of domestic violence. Number 1, harms the man, harms or injures, endangers the health, safety, life, limb or well-being. See, even the well-being. Well-being is a very wide definition, whether mental or physical, of the aggrieved person, or tends to do so, and includes causing physical abuse. It includes, not excludes what I said. Sexual abuse, even sexual abuse. Now here is a married family, but even as a sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, and economic abuse. These are so very wide. Tankha uski sari le leni is economic abuse. Not letting her go home when she needs to go is mental abuse. Harasses, harms, injures or dangers the aggrieved person with a view to coerce her now, or any other person related to her to meet any unlawful demand for any dowry or other property or valuable security. So even if he's saying, ye mujhe cheez de diya, zabardasti de do, many drug addicts do that. Many drug abuse husbands, alcoholics particularly, want to sell off their property and to buy. All this is domestic violence. So you can't say, no, she's not beaten. There's no injury. I didn't see that. So if supposing a woman is coming with all these aspects, she has committed, there has been an act of domestic violence. And because she also does not know, we as a society also do not know, we say, ye ghar ki baat hai, tum adjust kar lo. But actually there is an element of domestic violence which is punishable. We'll come to the next. So physical abuse means, sexual abuse means, verbal and emotional means, economic abuse means, these are all defined by law. Physical abuse can be physical harm. Sexual abuse is where it violates the dignity of a woman, insults, ridicules, humiliates. Not having a child or a male child is domestic violence. Economic abuse, when she's deprived of her economic, of her istri dhan or her incomes, and say, mujhe zabardasti humko do, it is clearly domestic violence because this comes under economic abuse. So all or economic or financial resources to which a aggrieved person is entitled to, under or whether payable or not, that's an issue. Istri dhan, property, jointly, separately owned, doesn't matter. Now, another thing was line was alienation of assets, disposal of household effects, any alienation of assets, where he's forcing her to alienate certain assets, कि तुम ये बिचवा दो, ये करवा दो, अपना जबरदस्ती. All this is, friends, very widely done, but women do not know. No, most of all, men do not know. Men do not know. Actually, people who should know this law, we need to have men in the crowd now to understand. ये तुम जुर्म कर रहे हो, तुम्हारी वाइफ तुम्हें बख्श रही है, शिकायत नहीं कर रही है ये क्राइम. But men do not know. They think जब तक थप्पड़ नहीं मारूंगा तो कुछ नहीं होता. सारा कुछ domestic violence है. Now, powers and duties of protection officer. Every court has protection officers. You need to know as doctors, and not many people know. You need to even know who your protection officer is. Court में protection officer कौन है नहीं पता चलता, Google कर लो. Go googling, and in this area I'm living in this court, who is my protection officer? So you can check out, this is something which your office and you need to also have it saved. So information to protection officer and exclusion of liability. The point here is you can even directly inform protection officer. If I would be there with you, I don't even have to go. Inform the protection officer that's her job to come and visit the house. Visit the house and see what the grievance is. Now, duties of police officers is a police officer, protection officer, service provider, or magistrate who's received a complaint, see, any one of them, who's received a complaint of domestic violence or is otherwise present at the place of an incident, or when the incident of domestic violence is reported to him, shall inform the aggrieved person. Who is protected? Now let's look at live-in relationships, part of the domestic violence. You can't say, oh, you were not married. No. Live-in relationships, covered. Family households, covered. Doctor's responsibilities. Now look at your responsibilities. Provide immediate medical care. Issue medical certificate, injury certificate. That's an important piece of evidence. Document. You should need another thing which is not mentioned here. There's a crimes against women cell in every one of your areas. So CAW cell bhi apne paas, uska number bhi rakho, and that's headed by a woman police officer. Uska number bhi rakho. No harm calling her sometimes, inviting her for a cup of tea in your clinic to make friends with her so that you know she knows you and she'll immediately recognize your complaint and she'll look after you. And then she will decide what needs to do. You are not again saying isko arrest karao, isko ye karo. Nahi, ye aapne usko kaam kar diya, you have done your job, but you must keep a full documentation that aaj so and so came, I did this. You can even email to the police commissioner. General police commissioner email can be sent and saying I've done the needful. It becomes a very good useful evidence for you. So always write emails. Third thing you should know, what is the email of the Delhi Police Commissioner? So have that also recorded and mark a copy and CC to yourself. And that shows the time at which, and it's almost like an FIR. Whatever goes first, information to them. Document history carefully. Refer for counseling if needed. If there's a counseling center, but again, if there is something needing counseling only, then link them with the counselor and the crimes against women cell be informed that I've linked them with so-and-so counseling center where they can take care. Refer for if needed, inform protection officer, inform police if consent given. In this case, if you ask me, it does not matter whether she gives. You inform. You inform. If she doesn't consent, put it in, she's not consenting for the following. But you inform, even if she does not consent. So refusing treatment is punishable. So key offenses doctors should know. These are the offenses, as you know, case of rape, assault, sexual harassment, disrobing, voyeurism, stalking, punishment for rape, acid attacks. These are all offenses which doctors should know. If we only think about rape, we only think about assault, but also disrobing and voyeurism and stalking and punishment for rape. These are the offenses doctors should know. Medical or legal examination in sexual assault, informed consent mandatory, we talked about. But if it's an adult, if she's refusing, well, put it down in writing. Keep the swabs, the clothing, but samples collected properly if possible, without having a conflict in between. Otherwise, call the women police. Women police are now in all police stations. They will have to come and they will come. So call 112, we need women police. And these are the samples, as you know, clothing, nail scraping. Even nail scraping is very important. So important legal provisions, principles for doctors are, emergency care must be provided even without police requisition. So you don't have to wait. And confidentiality to the extent you can. You are not making public statements. You are not taking the press calls. So that is the confidentiality you are maintaining. You're not letting the person kahan se aaya, uska naam kya hai, school kaun sa hai. You will not make any statement to the media. Otherwise it becomes an offense. So why this matters for doctors? Failure may lead to legal action, disciplinary action, court summons, professional misconduct charges against you. Takeaway now, failure may lead to crimes against women is a medical legal issue. Early treatment saves life and evidence. Proper documentation is crucial in the court. Respect privacy and consent mandatory. Two more things which have got added since the workshop was decided. This is a new development where egg extraction have started from women. This is the latest. where women are now selling their eggs, and eggs is for sale. So this is the latest trends of 2 days ago when I was looking at your workshop is egg extraction. I don't think that's something which came during your courses, but this is what's happening now. And this is a village woman in Telangana which was selling, and how it got known because she went egg extraction, egg selling, egg donation is an option, but selling is not under the law. One can donate the egg once in a year only under the law. Under this law, there's a law which handles the egg extraction. That's why you're having surrogate mothers. That's why many film stars are donating their egg, having a surrogate woman, and then it's all under the table. It's all by donation. It's a donation. It's not a purchase, but they're compensated fully. So egg extraction is now it will get picked up because now eggs, uteruses, all these are now for sale. Woman's body is so much of for sale. Available here is another one. This is today's Times of India. This is today's time in India that an egg supply hub catches on an inhuman, today's Times of India. If you wish to read more, read this more. This is the story which has been reported today, written by Bachi Karkaria. This is a fresh development, over the counter. She's written over the counter, ecstasy. She's called it egstasy. Yeah, it's ecstasy. So this is now coming with the customer shelled out of far. Because the money was not paid, and that's how otherwise if it was like a donation, it would not have been known. So friends, this is what I thought I'll share with these two laws. We can take up more questions if there's still more left answers, but then it's 4 o'clock. I think I can spare a few minutes for your questions, which never got addressed. Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask about domestic violence.
Ma'am, here.
I have a patient who reports to the police. Her husband and her son both are coming up. They pick them up, they lecture them, and they send them home. Now this poor woman, who does she approach next?
What did she say? What happened? You reported a case.
No, I did not.
Acha, what happened?
She came to me for another problem. She just came for a cough and cold. But she gave me the history that she's been facing domestic abuse for a long time. Earlier it was the husband, now it's the son also. They get picked up by the police. They get taken to the police station. They're lectured and they're left. Now I rang up a lady, I go to the police station and I asked, who do I send her to next? So who do I send her to next?
That's a tragedy.
Yes,
That's a bad policing. Police has all the powers. They could have bound them down to maintain peace. They could have bound them down for good behavior, which they haven't. This is bad policing. But you need to know police has the powers to rescue this woman. Unfortunately, she does not know who to go to, and she could go back. She must go to crimes against women cell. That's where her remedy lies in. And a person like you also puts in a word that she's been my patient, iska dhyan rakhna. At least she has some backup, nahi to akeli hai. That is why, क्योंकि अकेली है, उसका कोई लगता नहीं है, कोई पावरफुल लोग पीछे नहीं है, लीगल एड सेल्स भी होते हैं. देखो, जिसमें कंपैशन एंड काइंडनेस होगी उसको सब कुछ मिल जाएगा और उसकी सपोर्ट भी है. जिसके पास सपोर्ट सिस्टम नहीं है, अगले भी देखते हैं ये तो अकेली पड़ी है, इसलिए उसको इग्नोर करते हैं. बट पुलिस हैज़ द पावर टू बाइंड देम डाउन, put them even in jail. Do you know how? By proper provisions. There's another law provision where they can bind them down for good behavior. But these police officers devil. So some do it, some don't it. There are powers and capable. So best is go send them back. But this lady, why is she getting beaten? Your message to women who come to domestic violence is report if you. The problem is they don't report to save their roof. They want a house.
Correct.
Huh?
The son got picked up, the husband got picked up. They got scolded or whatever.
Has she gone back to the home?
She went
maybe a few days.
So is she back to the house which is violating her?
She is back to work.
Now the point is, if she's back and she's thinking things have settled down, now the message should be, अब हाथ लगाएगा तो 100 नंबर को बताना, पिटते मत रहना. See, the message for all of you doctors is, the message should be, the moment you're hit first, if the man is not generally reformed and requires, second hit should not be taken. But the question is, where does she go? She goes back to her parents. She has to go back to her parents. Or she looks for the point is, she has to. That's what family is about. Family cannot say, नहीं हम वापस नहीं आएंगे. भाई ये नहीं कह सकता वापस नहीं आ सकते. They are equally liable. Family has to step in. Otherwise, she will be butchered into pieces one day. Any other?
There is one more question I want to ask, ma'am. I was reading the clauses for domestic violence. I think there can one more thing should be added, that forcing a lady for pregnancy should come into domestic violence.
It is. It's a matter of understanding. That does everything need not be written.
Yes.
But if it is. It's a mental harassment.
Secondly, ma'am, I want to know.
It's a mental harassment.
Yes. And secondly, I want to know what about those children, younger girls who are doing consented sexual. Are they coming under POCSO?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So it is
Consent is not consent is not valid because they're not legally capable of giving the consent. They are minor.
Last question. In spite of all these speedy courts and everything, the conviction rate is still very less. How can you and we help in increasing the conviction?
Only the courts can help themselves.
So speedy courts are already there.
The courts alone can help themselves. It depends on the courts themselves, how fast they. But it also depends whether police has produced the right evidence in time before the courts. ये नहीं, और दूसरे वकीलों को भी बोलो ना, तारीख पर तारीख मत करें.
I know.
प्रॉब्लम ये है, तारीख पर तारीख फीस मिलती है. कोई रीजन है. देखो, every case which is a delayed case has its own reason. Sometimes it's a court. Sometimes it's a court. Sometimes it's the police. Sometimes the victim herself. She doesn't appear. तो कैसे करेगा कचहरी? And see this? It all depends. Kachari. Every case has its own reason.
Society has to do something, ma'am, and the administration has to do.
Well, we are all society, legal fraternity. Exactly.
That we have to at least.
Sometimes doctor does not appear for evidence. You see, the point here is, तारीख लग जाती है.
We doctors are being trained day in, day out about the POCSO evidence collection, about all the sexual abuse evidence collection, and we all are doing.
So can we keep sticking to time constraint right now? So what I'm trying to explain to you,
Yes,
we all
last
have
question.
grievances. Okay, now.
Last question.
I am Dr. Lekhi. I am dealing in the Juvenile Justice Committee as your question.
Please give him a mic.
80% of victims are hostile.
Sir.
She knows it very well.
Here.
हमने अभी 45 FIRs चल रही है. मैडम also knows it कि हमारा जो मेरा प्रोजेक्ट है POCSO एक्ट पे ही है. आप देखो मेरे पास 80 काउंसलर्स दी हुई है कोर्ट से, हाई कोर्ट से, और वो सब बच्चे आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं. हमारी 2 फिल्में भी हम दिखाते हैं, पुलिस की भी एक फिल्म है. बच्चे अपने आप भीड़ में से उठ के आते हैं, बताते हैं. और ऐसे बैड केसेस है, और इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस फैमिली मेंबर इज इन्वॉल्व. दे बिकम हॉस्टाइल. कोर्ट में जाके जज साहब ने मुझे कहा कि डॉक्टर साहब ध्यान रखना, अगर ये बच्चा हॉस्टाइल हो गया तो आप क्या करें. तो ऐसा है कि ठीक है, आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं कि क्यों पेंडिंग पड़े. वहाँ पे जाने के बाद अगर उसका मामा ही इन्वॉल्व है, अगर उसका कई केसेस में फादर इन्वॉल्व है, एक केस में रियल ब्रदर वॉज इन्वॉल्व, हमने WCD को दे दिया, पुलिस को दे दिया. हमने चाइल्ड लाइन वहाँ पे लॉन्च की थी. डॉक्टर नीलम थी जब वहाँ पे 1098 EDB में लॉन्च करी थी चाइल्ड हेल्पलाइन. मैडम नोज वेरी वेल. आप देखो WCD वाले भी आ जाते हैं, पुलिस स्टेशन भी चले जाते हैं.
माइक ऊपर करिए.
और आप देखो कि हमारी काउंसलर्स वहाँ पे 7-7 बजे तक, जबकि पुलिस के ऑर्डर से, कोर्ट के ऑर्डर से किसी भी गर्ल को 5 बजे के बाद रुका. तो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. और एक मैडम बैठी है हमारी, आप देखो कि मोस्ट ऑफ द गर्ल्स आर टेकिंग मेडिकल पिल्स प्रेगनेंसी के बाद. और वो पेशेंट अगर आपके पास ब्लीड करती हुई आएगी, वो आपको कहती है मुझे कुछ नहीं हुआ, मेरे को ब्लीडिंग हो रही है, उस वक्त पे आप क्या आइडेंटिटी कार्ड लोगे और आप क्या लोगे?
Correct.
Ma'am, I want to add one thing.
Answer is very simple. I think I began with the suspicion.
Yes, yes,
I
report.
began with the word suspicion.
Report.
If you suspect, you inform.
As a doctor, our duty is to collect the evidences. So for that, all doctors of East Delhi, even Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am have started this collection of evidences kit, and it has been provided to all government hospitals. And now we are collecting all the samples.
Like some
Whenever there is a girl comes with a rape complaint, then we collect. Even that kit is big enough and having all the envelope
Labeled.
slides and label envelopes, and in which clothes and nail scraping, hairs and skin scraping and slides from vagina and whatsoever is being collected. But and then these all are sealed and handed over to the police constable who comes to us. And what happens after that samples, that report comes very late, and even we called for the expert opinion in the court of law, and there also the report of those collected material is not.
My presentation has been limited to where you are directly concerned
Correct.
with the patient. Now, what happens after? Not every case stands out by itself. Hostile witnesses or police officers' investigation botched up, or witnesses not turning up, the judge being available, or the lawyers asking. Every case stands alone by himself. But as far as we're concerned, today, as a medical fraternity, we are very clear on our fundamentals. Even if you don't not read the law, I would say if you come across a case, you may have your sympathies, but you say, I'm sorry, I'm bound by my legal ethics. I have to inform the police.
Correct.
What police does is, now it's between you and them. Now let the police decide. You don't take that judgment in your hands. I would say that's your biggest takeaway, but you know the law. Today you've seen the law, whether it's domestic violence or whether it's POXO. Okay, friends? I hand over now back to your other doctor. I was a medical, academic doctor, now you go to a medical doctor.
Violence against women and children is not merely a legal issue, it is a societal responsibility. We doctors, law enforcement, citizens need to act with vigilance, sensitivity and courage. And thank you for, of course, Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am. We all know there was a film a year back. Dr. Sangeeta Gupta.
Yes.
So we are already on the path, and I'm sure the day will come and all these kind of complaints will be not there anymore.
But what about the doctor's violence? You did not touch that, sir, madam. That's pathetic.
Violence on the doctor?
Yes?
That's your personal. How do you deal with it? How do you, that will go to the leadership within. First of all, try and avoid a provocation. Don't provoke a situation if somebody is coming drunk. But at the moment, I thought we were focusing on women, not on male violence, female violence. So let's not divert the subject. Otherwise, then the world is open for next 2 hours. Go ahead.
Okay.
I hand over the mic to Dr. Shamabata to start the second session. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Kiran Bedi ma'am, for an incredible, powerful and thought-provoking session. Your words have inspired us to reflect, act responsibly and stand stronger as a doctor and as a change makers. We are truly grateful for your wisdom and guidance. We now move forward to our next enlightening session, and topic is Crimson Tide navigating heavy menstrual bleeding in our young achievers. It is our privilege to introduce our expert, Dr. Uma Rayman. She is a senior gynecologist and mentor. Dr. Vanna Gupta, EJ past president, PCD Gyne Forum. Dr. Archana Verma, past vice president, OPSI and Dr. Renu Chavna, vice president, PCD Gyne Forum. Dr. Kalpana Kumar, HOD Swami Dayanand Hospital. Now it's time to call our speaker, Secretary General, PCD Gyne Forum, Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am. a respected leader, mentor, to take us through our session. We request everyone to kindly stay active and attentive and engaged. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Sharda Jain.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shamavatra. At the outset, my warmest regards to Dr. Kiran Bedi and distinguished audience in the hall. Madam, at the outset, I will say that you're a public celebrity. You go day in, day out in the public. I have two things that you join hands with Delhi Gynecologist Forum. For two things. One thing, in the last century, our problem of anemia is not over. People are not conscious about their hemoglobin. So the only thing, whenever you go and address ladies, please do tell them, if you want to contribute to the nation building, the hemoglobin should be 12 and 12 gram% and more. It has taken 1 century, the hemoglobin percentage to come down from 90% to 50%, still more than that. So I think wherever you go, just with folded hands, tell them. I'm sure they will listen. And probably the gap will not be next 50 years. For the Prime Minister wants, in Viksit Bharat, anemia rate should be less than 5%. And to me, it looks very far, far distance. I think you will join hands here. And secondly, again, people have a lot of inhibition on HPV vaccination. This is done thing, they should do it. Again, you should be promising your hands on this. Now I'm going to talk on the crimson tide. It is another name for heavy menstrual bleeding. In our young achievers, the topic has been given to me. This particular presentation is dedicated to young girls, young professionals who have heavy menstrual bleeding, but they still smile through their fatigue, and they also smile through their pain. They dream big despite their flooding every month. This crimson tide means whenever the bleeding is more, it's almost the double what you have been using earlier. Patient is having a history of clots, and the duration is more than 7 days. It affects 1 in 5 girls and young women. And you can see them all around in the classroom, in the office, in your own colony, in your own housing society. It bothers both young women and her parents also. The irony is, she wants to have the top of the grades, she wants to have a stellar career, but their biology is draining their energy every month. We gynecologists are their first defense. We have to put extra care to these young achievers because they are our nation's productive force of tomorrow. Untreated heavy menstrual bleeding inevitably leaves chronic anemia, and with that there's a poor concentration, diminished quality of life, bad school performance, and lot of absenteeism. We all know about the simplified FIGO classification. When you think, the palm denotes that there is a structural problem of the heavy menstrual bleeding, while the coin denotes there is a non-structural problem. You all know that it is the structural causes are exceedingly rare in adolescent and young women. But non-structural causes make more than 90%. Coagulopathy is said to be ranging from 20 to 45% as the Western world is concerned, and this is because they investigate their patients. We find that ovulatory dysfunction is the most common cause, but I'm sure if our patients are not responding and we investigate our patients, we'll definitely find coagulopathy surfacing more. Madam mentioned about iatrogenic cause of bleeding. Times have changed now. our youngsters are sexually active, and I'll put it to more than 50%, and they are used to taking these emergency pills, and this is again the cause of irregular bleeding. We must not forget tuberculosis may be the cause of endometrial problem. And as far as the golden rule for adolescents and youngs are concerned, think always coin before the palm, think anovulation and think coagulopathy first as for the causes in these people. Coming to the investigations, they don't like much of investigations, so keep it very simple. History and physical examination are our keys. They must have simple investigation like complete blood count, the peripheral blood smear, the iron studies, and pelvic ultrasounds definitely is required in these patients to rule out structural causes which are palm causes for this heavy bleeding. Targeted test if index is suspicion. Coagulation profile or Von-Brent disease, you must think about it if this heavy bleeding is there right from the beginning itself, that is from the menarche itself. Thyroid function test, it is my request that please investigate them. You'll find in 20% of cases it's positive. And never ever forget beta HCG to rule out pregnancy, because always rule out pregnancy in today's time. Now coming to the magic treatment. In phase 1, to rescue them, you have to stop the acute bleeding. Tranexamic acid is known as the first drug. It is a magic pill which reduces blood to the tune of 50 to 60%. It's very quick, safe, non-hormonal, and gives instant control. But what I'm going to tell and the treat of today is the dose is 750 milligram, should be taken twice a day. That is going to be paradigm shift. And this is what I wish to emphasize. We are all used to giving tranexamic acid 500 milligram 3 times a day. And you can see the graph that the therapeutic hemostatic dose you do not get by this particular regime. But if you use the regime of 750 milligram SR dose, you can have to give 12 hourly depending upon how heavy is the bleeding. You can give 1 tablet twice a day, or you can give 2 tablets twice a day. Take it from me that not more than 3 grams you should be using in a day's time. This particular combination, tranexamic acid 750 milligram twice a day, is my favorite. How heavy the bleeding may be, you use this particular days, it is pretty effective. Now coming to the second part of the treatment, prevent recurrence of heavy menstrual bleeding. For that, we have to resort to hormone first-line therapy. It's a true game changer. Combined oral contraceptive pill is very good. It regulates the cycle. People were hesitant that it should not be used less than 14 years, but now there's enough literature available that it is safe at 11 and 12 years as well. It decreases the blood flow by 70%, gives predictability, and this is again my choice. Progesterone-only pills, people talk many things about it. I'm not in favor of it because it gives a lot of breakthrough bleeding. Now, as far as the West is concerned, Mirena is becoming popular. Set it once and forget about it. This will take care as a magic stick in good 90% of people. You'll ask me again, Madam, aap Hindustan mein baat kar rahi ho. It is not possible. I will again say, India has changed. India of today is different of India of 50 years back. So there is a paradigm shift. In case you find that the patient is sexually active, you can definitely use this particular treatment, and this is going to definitely change the line of treatment. To my mind, oral progestogens will soon become the treatment of past. Now coming to the hemoglobin of 12 gram and more. It is non-negotiable adjuvant therapy. Either you have to give oral drugs or you have to give IV iron. You have to correct anemia, improve her cognition, improve her stamina and overall well-being. Then only she can be, academically, she will do well. Now India has trains like Vande Mataram, and tomorrow there will be bullet trains. So passenger train में अपने बैठना छोड़ना पड़ेगा. So oral therapy does not work very well. Don't hesitate to use IV iron if you find the hemoglobin of your patient is less than 10 gram percent. Please use IV iron. Now, what is the role of surgery? The truth is, practically there is no role, especially in youngsters. Same is true for endometrial ablation, is contraindicated, and hysterectomy does not figure. Now, coming to the myths in the society. The first myth is heavy periods are normal, just bear it. No. Incidence is 20% and suffering is not normal. You have to go to the doctor and the doctor has to fix it. Another myth is hormonal pill will harm fertility. It causes weight gain forever. But you know, the modern pills are very safe, weight gain is minimal, and you can very safely give them. Another myth is Mirena is only for married people. No, it is fantastic, reversible option for any young woman who is sexually active. And last investigation, like ultrasounds, can break virginity. You don't have to use transvaginal sonography all the time. Transabdominal ultrasound is non-invasive and very informative. Now coming to our role as gynecologists. Be the believer that heavy menstrual bleeding is the real problem and you should know, you should have an expertise to fix it. You must counsel her with compassion. Give her empower with choices and let her decide and become part of the treatment. Monitor and motivate. Follow-up is the key. Celebrate rising hemoglobin levels. Then only she will be happy. In Delhi context, I again repeat, we have to create awareness in the school and the colleges and the workplaces. Again, my request to Madam Kiran Bedi is, please appeal to the old girls, their hemoglobin should be 12 and 12 gram percent. The times are gone. आप पूछोगे आपका हीमोग्लोबिन बेटा बच्चे कितना है 9 ग्राम ठीक है हिंदुस्तानी लड़कियों के लिए सब ठीक है ये ठीक नहीं है we are comparing ourselves with the best so we should also be the best and again I should say that it should be simplified the access should be there to the availability of tranexamic acid COCs and I think I have told you what dosage has to be used. Advocate IV iron for quick establishing her hemoglobin to 12 gram percent. Do guide her in energy equation. Heavy bleeding will definitely lead to anemia and thereby fatigue and poor performance wherever she is. And the treatment of heavy menstrual bleeding has to be along with iron therapy. More iron, more energy, and a better grades and a career. So message for my senior colleagues is, your wisdom and authority can change the narrative. From taboo, it can become a treatable disease. Each girl should know when to see the doctor and champion the use of effective modern dose of tranexamic acid, which is 750 milligram twice a day. If it's very heavy, you can use 2 tablets twice a day. So the call for action is, screen every patient for heavy menstrual bleeding. मेरी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट होगी, do a full examination. उसका स्क्लेरा देखो, सब कुछ देखो, उसको पता तो चले कितना है. Yesterday I had seen a patient, she had been to multiple doctors. For the last 2 years she had been going for her problem of itching down below. And she had come looking one of the videos of mine and you will not believe, I found she was pale. She had put a lot of lipstick, so you find that nothing is wrong with her. And I got a hemoglobin done in the clinic, it was 6, but when the CBC came, it is 4. Everything down the line. So I think, all people who are seeing here, please do a general physical examination. Things like anemia we can definitely take care. Iron liberally in the acute phases is very important along with the nutritious diet. Do not hesitate to prescribe Mirena in patients who are young and sexually active. Educate, educate, and educate. Your clinic is a classroom. So the ultimate goal is to see a young woman return to your clinic, not with pallor, but with a glow. And she should say to you, Doctor, my periods are light and I topped in my class. To build a generation of healthy, energetic, unstoppable professional women. So the final thought of mine is, we are not just treating heavy periods. We are safeguarding dreams, protecting potential, and fueling the future of India. Let's give them energy to achieve their greatness. So today is the day when you find that the government has announced finally that HPV vaccination launches there on the 28th of February. I think we've been going to the ministry time and again, then finally it has been there. It is going to be launched, All India launch will be there on the 28th of February. Thank you very much. And this is the Crimson Tide. I hope you're familiar with this word, Crimson Tide, now. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
Any questions from our experts?
Thanks, Sharda, for the brilliant.
Thank you.
And I think all of us should be following the things which she has told us. As a doctor, we should see, when we see a teenager and we see her pain, and we should diagnose anemia and treat her accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your passion. And we do believe that you would achieve what you do.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Sharda Jain, ma'am. Dr. Kiran.
It is very important that we maintain the girls in home at 12. We should always ask her. Some of them are not clear how much they are giving. So we should not hesitate to see their cards also. That how much amount they are using. And if they are using more amount, we should take them.
I think my criteria of heavy bleeding is associated with the hemoglobin level. If she says she's having heavy periods and 12 g%, it means her parents and the doctor is taking care of her well. But otherwise, if she's not taken care, then her hemoglobin will definitely go down.
Thank you, ma'am, such a wonderful lecture. And whenever a girl comes to the OPD with pain or with anemia, so we should always screen that woman, that girl, for having menstrual bleeding and anemia is related to the bleeding disorder also as well. Thank you so much.
Sharda Jain, ma'am, you are our role model, and we were just a call away whenever we meet you. So, but my questions, can I direct to Dr. Kiran Bedi, madam, one or two things?
Certainly. Certainly, now it is open time for either of us to give you more.
I'll be trying to talk to you, and there are two, three things that I wanted to say. One was that many times, as far as domestic violence is concerned, many times the women don't come physically.
They don't have?
They don't come with physical injuries, but their mental injuries, the mental violence that they are suffering is far more serious and severe. And that is the only thing that we can do with them is counsel them. So, do we suggest to them that it's something that one needs to report, and when? This was one question, ma'am. And report to the police. I think she should be empowered to speak up for her. And there we are as supporters to her, because she's coming to only a doctor she can come to. And she comes with very, weird ailments. She say backache ho raha, her tummy ache ho raha. And then finally you know from her face there is something else she wants to share. So this was one point, ma'am.
In the schools and share them with young school girls to make them aware about what sexual abuse is, like even molestation, whatever like you told us about. This was my second point, and the third point quickly was that about brothels. Ma'am, why do we need brothels? And why can't we shut them? There are live-in relationships. Sex is freely available now. One could say nahi to rape hoega, but the rape incidences are only increasing. And in the brothels, they have women who don't want it for themselves. It is done through trafficking of girls, which is so inhuman. In today's time, there should be no place for such a thing to happen. A woman should not be allowed or should not have the chance to sell her body for her sake, for some pennies. So what can we do for that?
Well, certain questions are beyond the scope of this workshop. The moment we open up to those, so then we are into open discussions, not focused on the subject we all assembled for. I come back to the first question, which is relevant. Second is having a film for he can answer this. Do they have a film and what happens with those films? But he answered you a very important question was why do courts delay so much? Well, most of the convictions are falling flat because the child changes the statement. वो इधर तो उस वक्त पकड़ा गया लेकिन माँ बाप के कहने से वो तो बचा देता अपने चाचे को ताए को दोस्त को नेबर को तो anyway I think it's a matter of these are all social issues which we are all grappling with and we are all different from each other. Every family is different, every situation is different, every case is different and it has to stand by its own merits before a court.
Madam, I'll answer your first question.
But answering your first question, if you would like.
No, you after you.
The first question was, where does she, the mental violence. The question is, tell me when she comes to you, is she, when you ask her, तो तुम क्यों mental pressure को क्यों झेल रही हो? तो बता देगी कि मैं और कहाँ जाऊँ?
और क्या?
अगर है उसके पास कोई जाने वाला, and you are going a little beyond, call the parents. Have a talk with them. कि आपकी बेटी है, दुखी है, कहीं उसको मार ना दे या सुसाइड ना कर ले, वापस क्यों नहीं आ सकती? Then comes her economic independence. There's so many social issues then it comes. So these are the issues which are beyond your medical, but you can play the role of a medical counselor, where you talk to the family, also talk to the husband. So you can play a mediating role, but every doctor doesn't have the time or the inclination, or she is not willing to listen to you, or the husband not willing to listen, the parents are not willing to listen, you give up. Then comes the need for counseling centers in the society. And there are here and above, there are not many. There are not many. There are a lot of private counselors, maybe family marriage counselors, but sarkari counselors are not many. I think the real key is also legal aid. And there is a legal aid available. There's a legal aid. Again, you have another option. मैंने आपको बोला था ना, crimes against women cell का नंबर अपने पास रखो, SHO के पास का रखो, ACP का भी रखो, legal aid का भी रखो. क्योंकि legal aid बेकर वो free है, लेकिन काम की नहीं है कई बार. है, systems है, लेकिन quality suffer करती है. उसकी reliability suffer करती है, credibility suffer करती है. Family counseling centers सरकारी खुलते हैं, उनकी भी quality suffer करती है. Question is the quality we offer. We have structures, but how much respect do we have and assurance of the quality they have? Systems are there. But I'm not saying, सीधा चले जाओ family counseling center में नहीं. See, I have experienced this in my life now as a social, also along with my policing, how I handled family counseling centers. Everybody's different. Every woman is different. But you as a doctor, where you can and you want to, you can guide the woman. Go for economic independence, go back to your parents, or look for a women hostel, or look for a friend to stay with, share a shared household. बड़ा कुछ हो सकता है, लेकिन इसीलिए कहा हर फैमिली डिफरेंट है. लेकिन you women gynecologists do play a role.
Oh yes, big role.
You play a very important role in playing the friend of that woman. And where you spend a little more time, it might change her. It might empower her. So you can all be empowering if you ask me. You can play a role. I have not picked up this as a message because I didn't want to be preachy at the moment. That, oh, she's preaching. I'm not going to be preaching. But it is like a police officer, a woman officer can also play a counselor role. A police officer can also play a mediation role. You too can. You too can if you want to, and if you're inclined, and if you're skilled for this, and also if you have the compassion within. You can play a role to teach a lesson to the male doctor, to the husband, to the parents, to the family. But how many of you would like to do that? That's the question.
You very rightly said. I think, we have to make our girls economically independent before they get married. One thing. Secondly, coming on to that, you talked about the brothel and things. sex as is a profession in 50%, 50%. So you should know what is the psyche of the society. And you talked about legal aid, ma'am. I think legal aid is just farce. बस डेट्स पे डेट्स चलती रहती हैं, वहाँ कोई एंड ही नहीं होता. It's a farce. It's a farce system. Yes, yes, please. Last question. Yes, last question.
Also have been director of various programs. My first question was about the mental issues which you face. In each hospital we have one-stop centers. And one-stop centers have been created only for DDs. To give me my experience of DDs, when I was sitting in the OPDs in the government around Yashoda Hospital, 30% of women who come over there, they come with deafness. Can you give this? And I used to ask them, why deafness? Slapping with the ear, and 30% bleeding. That's the rate of TB which is happening in my country. So we have one-stop center, I used to send it to there, where a lot of counseling is done, parents are called, the husbands are called. So this is one. Second thing you talked about, the brothers. Now I've been to brothers. I've spent my life with the sex workers. Believe me, they are happy with the societies. How many rapes are still being prevented over there? And when I used to go to the brothers, in daytime, half of their clients are my adolescents. I'm an adolescent expert. And believe me, why are they going there? It's me who is responsible. It's society which is responsible. हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि पहली रात को बिल्ली मारती है. प्लीज ये कहना बंद कर दीजिए कि पहली रात को आपने बिल्ली मारती है. फर्स्ट नाइट को बिल्ली मारती है, ये कहना बंद कर दीजिए. इससे हैंड्स ऑन प्रैक्टिस विल गिव टू adolescents. They come over there, they celebrate their birthdays over there. And they feel proud कि मैंने इतने girlfriends बना ली. So
wind up.
Society is responsible कि आज के दिन भी brothers are there. It's not the fault of the sex workers. I made all of us should legalize the sex workers. It's a passion needs and respect करा सकते हैं. I was like not based on those things. And third question which you had was about. I am now national champion of I can this I group है child abuse, child neglect and child labor group. They are going to schools across India and teaching students about the child abuse. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Professor. We want to thank from each and everyone, Dr. Kiran Bedi ma'am and Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, for such an informative lecture and information. Everybody has to be aware. First, we should get aware between us, then we can aware our society. That is the most important. Now, before this, I just want to quote Rakhi ji.
मुझे एक अगर इजाज़त दो.
Yes.
एक इजाज़त दो तो अगर मैं अपनी दिल की बात करना चाहती हूँ. जब आपके पास लड़की आती है कंसीव करके, उससे कोई पूछता है कि क्या तू माँ बनना चाहती? पूछना बहुत ज़रूरी है. अगर वो कहे कि मैं माँ बनने को तैयार नहीं हूँ, मैं तैयार नहीं हूँ, मैं मेंटली भी तैयार नहीं हूँ, फिजिकली भी तैयार नहीं हूँ, मेरा करियर भी नहीं करता, दैट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन फॉर यू टू हेल्प हर टेक. मैं दिल की बात बोल रही हूँ.
आजकल तो बहुत पेशेंट कहते हैं.
हाँ ना, कहते हैं ना, कहते हैं ना. तो फिर उस वक़्त बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है डिसीजन लेना आपको, नंबर 1. नंबर 2, अगर वो कहती हाँ मैं बनना चाहती, अगर कहती नहीं बनना चाहती, ये आपकी डिसीजन और उसकी डिसीजन, कलेक्टिव डिसीजन. अगर वो कहती है हाँ बनना चाहती हूँ, फिर उसको समझाओ व्हाट इट मीन्स. व्हाट इज मीन्स her self care, you need to give her a full plan of self care, whether it's her nutrition or it's her surroundings, whether it's because it means what does motherhood mean, she has to understand. उसको कोई समझाता नहीं, क्योंकि हमारी किसी ट्रेनिंग में नहीं आती what is motherhood, what responsibilities it will bring, what changes will happen, how it will impact her career and how is she going to manage her career. ये कोई नहीं समझाता, क्योंकि ये काउंसलिंग में आता ही नहीं और सिर्फ आपके हाथ में है. ये बात तो सिर्फ आपके साथ ही करेगी, दिल की बात, और किसी से नहीं करेगी. तो ये 2 चीज़ें कराओ कि वो उसको बचाओ. गंदी अगर मदरहुड के लिए तैयार नहीं है तो किस प्रेशर में वो बन रही है मदर, यू नीड टू बिकम मेक हर वेरी अवेयर, अदरवाइज लाइफ विल टोटली चेंज फॉर हर.
एग्री.
Marriage is terminable, motherhood is not. So you have to make a very conscious कि तेरी लाइफ अब बदलने वाली है जब तू माँ बनेगी. माँ का मतलब क्या है? माँ का मतलब ऑल्सो है इकोनॉमिक इंडिपेंडेंस, कि तेरे पास कुछ है उसको देने के लिए, कि तू मांगेगी हमेशा. All these things have to, you are more than a gynecologist, you are a medical counselor for her. You are her only friend. कई बार उस बच्चे के पास कोई नहीं और होता. मैं ये दिल की बात कहना चाहती थी कि मैं हमेशा सोचती थी कि गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट ही ऐसी काउंसलिंग दे जो उसको आगे समझा दे कि व्हाट इट मीन्स, व्हाट इज शी हेडिंग फॉर. और पता नहीं अगर हस्बैंड कायदे का है तो उसको भी बुला लो. मैं कायदे का वर्ड यूज कर रही हूँ. अगर सुनने वाला है या उसकी माँ को बुला लो, उसके ससुराल को बुला लो. कौन से कायदे के हैं? कई बार मिलना जरूरी है कि कोई कायदे का है इनमें से.
हस्बैंड तो कायदे के होते हैं आजकल, इन लॉज थोड़े मुश्किल है.
हाँ, हस्बैंड और इन लॉज. सो आई थिंक ये रोल भूलना मत. इट्स बियॉन्ड योर मेडिकल बट इट हैज एन इम्पैक्ट ऑन योर मेडिकल. थैंक यू.
आई थिंक व्हाट मैडम हैज सेड, आई जस्ट विश टू टेल, हिंदुस्तान बदल गया है. हिंदुस्तान में अब एक चीज़ तो ये है कि 70% 75% लड़कियां पढ़ी हैं, 12वीं क्लास पढ़ी हैं. बस आपको खाली उंगली पकड़नी है. दे कैन ऑल्सो बिकम प्रोफेशनल लाइक यू. आई थिंक यू नीड टू हेल्प देम आउट.
ठीक.
थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर. थैंक यू फॉर आपका थोड़ी देर के लिए 2 मिनट का समय और चाहूँगा. आई नो आई कैन नॉट टॉक एट द स्टैंडर्ड वेयर डॉक्टर शारदा जैन, डॉक्टर किरण बेदी स्पीकिंग, but it was really a session which made all of us think. डॉक्टर संगीता ने बहुत क्रूशियल सवाल पूछा कि मैम हम क्या कर सकते हैं. 70 मैम कह रहे थे, मतलब अभी 9 के ऊपर भी हीमोग्लोबिन लेवल नहीं पहुंचा है. देयर आर स्टिल विमेन एजुकेशन के बाद भी दे आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम हैवी मेंस्ट्रुअल ब्लीडिंग. व्हेन वी से हाफ ऑफ द वर्ल्ड इज विमेन, इट मींस हाफ ऑफ द world is suffering 7 days every month, or maybe days of work are being compromised. Now, this platform for her has created this environment that we are all discussing it. We are asking those questions which have been not asked so far, and those questions are being answered. So thank you very much, ma'am, for creating this environment that we are encouraging such questions. And that is what we want from all of you present here, honorable doctors, that you create the same environment for the patients there when you practice. They have come to you beyond their physical ailments. And if you can create that environment of asking questions, I believe the purpose of for her is served.
Right.
आप इतनी पैशन के साथ मैम विमेन हेल्थ के बारे में, विमेन राइट्स के बारे में बात करती हैं. It reminds me of a person again and again, with whom I have spent 25 years of my career so far, and one more person I have seen talking with the same passion about women health, women well-being. He only decided that we launch a company and we name the company Nucleus, and that will be only targeted toward women health, because women are the nucleus of the family, women are the nucleus of society, women are the nucleus of the nation. So the name of the organization is kept Nucleus. आप मैम बात कर रहे थे, हम बहुत बार कहते रहते कि कौन कैसे होगा, बट आई बिलीव वेरी स्ट्रांगली आउट ऑफ दिस इनपुट्स ओनली दैट इफ इट इज टू बी, इट इज अप टू मी. अगर होना है तो मेरे को शुरू करना है. तो ही ऑन ए पर्टिकुलर डे व्हेन ही केम टू नो दैट सो मेनी इंडियन वुमेन आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम anemia, the best of the formulation of hematinic, he dropped price as the managing director of the company from 19 rupees to 5 rupees per day. The best of the composition, but 5 rupees. I'm not here for commercial promotion, but I'm just talking to you about the thoughts of that person. And we became the first organization also to introduce the next week as a trimester 750 for the first time in video dose for, again, convenience of those ladies. तो मेरे को ये बहुत खुशी हो रही कहने में कि हम बहुत बार कहते हैं behind every successful man there is a woman, but let me present you a man who is behind welfare of so many women, at least he is thinking about that. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am referring to CMD of Ozone Pharmaceutical Limited, Mr. Subhash Chandra Sagar. He is bestowed with awards like Pride of India, Rashtriya Ratan Award. He was finalist in Earnest and Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and he is the first generation entrepreneur today having as managing director and chairperson of Ozone Pharmaceutical Limited, who is very proudly associated with this concept of forum. Let's give a round of applause for Mr.
Yes, please.
केसी ने मेरे बारे में ज़्यादा बड़ी बात कर दी, but yes, I hold the intention of being able to contribute to the best of my capability to do this. आज मैंने एक नया word सीखा, that is protect the protector. I think it's a very, very meaningful, very profound, and it has a lot of strength behind it. This is a cultural adoption and a correction which is required to be brought in this society. Protect the protector. I had learned one word from Dr. Kiran Bedi in his book say idea. Lot to learn from there, and she truly is a role model of bravery. इनसे बात करते हुए last time I had a good long session. डॉक्टर साहब को नहीं पता होगा कि मैंने इस दिन कितना सीखा और क्या कुछ सीखा. One thing besides being daring, I think one has to be caring. So I dare, yes, important. I care, I think that should be the attitude. And protect the protector should be a cultural correction we should be organization should be bringing. All of us should be bringing. I try my best that we create a mind bank, we create a capability where we provide the protection in legal, security, and advisory, counseling. So this is one initiative which will take up very aggressively. कि सबके लिए जो एक अच्छा काम करते हैं उनको प्रोटेक्शन मिलनी चाहिए. लीगल तरीक पे तरीक, I think that's the way we are all used to. पर ये प्रोसेस को कैसे स्पीड अप,
तरीक के साथ पैसे भी देने पड़ते हैं. सच में.
तो एक जितना डाइवर्सिफाइड मेडिकल प्रोफेशन है, गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट, फिजिशियन एंड कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग, उतना ही डाइवर्सिफाइड लीगल प्रोफेशन है. बहुत सारी कैपेबिलिटीज चाहिए. And I understand as an individual, for any individual, even the best of the individuals, might not have access to so much of legal bits जितनी चाहिए. In the organization we try that हम legal वो bits provide करें ताकि किसी तरह की कोई legal issue हो उसके अंदर हम counseling advice दे पाएं. And in any issue, there are many things when Rakesh was mentioning unasked questions. Ladies keep on suffering 20% जो आपने बताया, big number. लोग silently चुपचाप सफर करते रहते हैं, पूछते नहीं, बताते नहीं, बहुत सारे multifarious कारण से. इसलिए I think this is very important that हम एक hub बनाएं, mind map बनाएं, जहाँ जिसको जो पूछना हो, जरूरी नहीं आप अपना नाम बताओ. That protection and that counseling can be provided. Even physical, I heard कि कोई अगर डॉक्टर को फिजिकली हर्ट करने लगे तो क्या करें.
सर इन्होंने तो बात ही नहीं, वो चैप्टर खुला ही नहीं आज. हमने सोचा था मैडम बताएंगे, कुछ तो सपोर्ट बनेगी हम लोगों की. वो अगली वर्कशॉप में.
तो डॉक्टर को मैं I'll rope her in and I'll request her that she should be continue to support her in more diversified manner. Physical security के लिए we will try that we should create an all India capability so that as and when wherever something is happening, we should be able to provide. So this mind bank and the counseling bank will try the best of our capability to have it over. So these are the intents, how valid they are. These are gradual progressive issues, which once initiated would be requiring support of many to be able to get them magnified and to be truly useful and truly enable. So with your blessing, with your wishes, I try my best.
Great.
We'll try our best.